Hello, John.
Hey, Alex.
Do you know what I hate?
What do you hate?
Apathy and cryptids.
Real, like apathy in cryptids, or like
I mean,
also?
it's really two disparate thoughts, but I mean, frankly, I pair them together in some like strange way, almost like I'm introducing a movie.
So two disparate concepts, such as perhaps like, I'm just throwing this out there, love and monsters?
That would be a perfect example. If only we could find something called Love and Monsters to have already watched and discuss.
Yeah, too bad. Well, instead we'll discuss love and monsters.
Wow, I can't believe that worked out.
Joining us this week, special guest from the Idle Ride podcast, Marcy Phillips. Welcome, Marcy.
Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I'm ready to have you hate this, and so that I can tell you how much I love it and beat you guys up really hard.
Yeah, I want to talk about that because you selected this movie. What about this movie? Why was this your go-to pick?
It was my go-to pick because I feel like the pandemic was horrible and it destroyed all of us. And it was a movie that I look for a certain kind of feel of movie now that I didn't used to. Like, I used to watch more depressing movies, but now I'm like, okay, I want something that like makes me feel good, gives me the feels. There's only a few movies that make me feel this way, and this is one of the movies that did that. It defies a lot of tropes that are usually in post-apocalyptic movies, and I love post-apocalyptic movies, so that was fun. And then also just, it made me feel happy. There was lots of things in it that I love. Monsters, benevolent robots, hero dogs. I mean, all the things that I love.
So with that being the case, why did you guys on Idle Ride do The Last of Us? Because that is a bummer of a show.
It is a real bummer of a show, kind of, but the heart of the show is about love, and it's actually about like what I feel like is toxic masculinity softening and becoming kind of like empathetic, and he changes and becomes more loving throughout the course of that show. And in the video game, it's not so clear, but Pedro Pascal is like amazing in that show and just like emanates. I don't think he couldn't show like how amazing and loving he is. Like, it just comes out of his face.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I honestly have not watched the show because I'm a huge fan of the game, and I like the story the game told, and so I was worried about any changes. You know, like I don't necessarily need another version of this, but anything I've seen with him in it, I've enjoyed because I also just like him a ton. I will pretty much watch him and everything, and did, because we watched Wonder Woman 84, and that movie was pretty bad.
We definitely watched that. I liked The Last of Us. It was good. I can't, spoiler alert, I didn't like the way they edited it. But
Oh, well, that's how they ended the game. So.
Oh, no, I know. I played the game. We can't talk about it because that's like literally the last episode. But anybody at home has watched The Last of Us, the TV show, and knows what I'm talking about, you now know if you agree or disagree with me.
Yeah. And that sets you up for this one. What did you think of this one, Alex?
I was going to wait for you to go first to know if I can argue.
I know.
So, John,
checkmate.
Shit. Now I have to like make up my own mind. Nah, this is very much up my alley. It's sappy. It's feel good. There's love in it, which I'm a fan of. Especially when you say love with that violent tone that it just used. There's definitely no, definitely no trauma seeping through there. Yeah,
said through clenched teeth. Yeah,
love.
I wondered.
Sir Barrington.
I wondered if this would be the case. This to me felt like an anime, pretty like a kind of anime you would enjoy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's not a knock on it. It definitely has that kind of feel. It definitely a young adult, a sort of vibe to it. And I think it would be 100 times worse with a different person playing Joel.
Oh yeah.
I think that is a very particular.
Hey, I just realized. Hold on, Joel from Last of Us, and Joel is in this.
Yeah, well, I thought his shirt was like a reference to Ellie's shirt.
He's wearing the same shirt as Ellie's wearing. I thought that was the direct reference.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's wearing the tree shirt that Ellie wears in
This
I think
movie,
part one.
this movie has a lot of references. I'll get back to Dylan O'Brien in a second, but this movie has a lot of references to other movies, but in a way that I think works. Like, obviously, there's a huge lift from Zombieland in the bit with Michael Rooker, but that's fine. I actually enjoyed this version of it a little bit better when he's doing the survival rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I think Dylan O'Brien really captures that character. Like, I get really annoyed about this sort of Rose Tycho, or I don't know, the current version of the Flash, the Ezra Miller guy. That kind of like awkward, oh geez. But I think he does it in a subtle enough way that it's a little bit more believable as a character trait rather than just being like this broad archetype sort of thing. And I enjoyed his performance immensely.
Yeah, he's good in it. I was suspect at first because I was really glad. So I bitch about it constantly, and thankfully this movie doesn't do it. Was where we get introduced to the idea of Amy, Amy Pretty. That's a Congo reference. That I was like, oh, is she going to be dead? Like, and I was going to be so annoyed. And then, like, with him being that bummed, but then she's not dead, I'm like, oh, I like this character a million times more. Because if he was acting like that, and it's like, oh, I'm so emo and sad because my girlfriend died, I would want to strangle the film. But it's like, oh, no, she's fine, and kind of just like a fully grown adult. It's been 7 years, so you have your own lived life, and you're doing things like, oh, wow, it's like you're not pandering to me, like you're not talking down to me, movie. I don't know how to react. I need fucking Spider-Man to come in and say something witty real quick. Thankfully, young Gamora is in this, so I felt grounded.
Yes. Well, and we were just talking about her on our Barbie episode, the Ariana Greenblatt that plays Minnow in this.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think, like, is she just mean in real life?
Oh, yeah.
This is just sort of what she does. But I did like her character in this. And again, like, talking about sort of lifting one of the things, this kind of, at first I thought it was going to be a lot more of the Nicolas Cage, Chloe Grace Moretz from Kick-Ass. And it's certainly there's parallels to be drawn, but I thought it was a little bit different. And I thought their relationship was a bit different.
Well, and I think for a child actor, there's lots of things that could have gone wrong in this movie. Sort of what Alex was saying with the main female character, Amy, and also with, like, whenever you have a kid in a movie, it can go really bad. And I feel like that actor is amazing. She did so good at playing, like, kind of the spunky but not overly, like, annoying child.
Yeah, well, that was one of the first examples. I was like, okay, I feel pretty confident how the rest of this is going to play out, simply because I was a little unsure, because it's not traditionally my style of movie. And
you mean good?
Yes, yeah. Traditionally, it's good, is in focus, or you could hear anything. No, but just when she's being all like super tough, you know, kind of cracking wise to him, and then when he finally like makes the shot really well, she like hugs him super close, and like that was just this neat little like, yeah, she's still a human being,
Super
like she's
adorable.
the child, and yeah,
and like little moments when she's gets the lipstick and she acts a little bit like a child, and like gets upset when he keeps saying that he's gonna leave. Yeah, there's lots of really good moments where she's still a kid, but she's also been on the surface of a post-apocalyptic world with monsters. So
that's the very anime of it for this movie for me. Like that, it perfectly encapsulates it, because there's so many anime of like, I'm a badass killer, but also ooh, I'm a cute little girl. Like and it was like, oh, you landed this well, and maybe I just like anime. And that's probably it.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I really, for me, the big standout in this overall is the monster design.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
They gave those things life and a lot of like dimension and like just really cool designs, like the boulder snail.
Oh yeah, so amazing.
That might be my favorite one. I'm not sure, because the creepy centipede from under the ground was great also.
The centipede was awful. The boulder snail just feels like something that would like give you an Ashes of War in Elden Ring. Like it's got very From Soft vibes.
He might be able to point me in the direction of Totoro.
yeah.
I think that's one of the other reasons why I really like it, because I'm a child of the 90s, so it's really hard for me to be down with like only CGI as a way of presenting a monster. And so they did do both practical and CGI effects, and I think you can tell, like you can see that it's a mixture of the two, and it really works, and it really looks amazing. And I'm a huge fan of like monster movies, certainly I didn't watch some of like the older ones, like the original Godzillas when I was a kid, but like I remember watching the 1976 King Kong with like Jessica Lange and Jeff Bridges and just being like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Yep. And then like, also, I don't know how other people feel about Peter Jackson's King Kong, but like, I mean, there was a lot of drama in it, but like the moments when the T-Rexes are fighting King Kong, I was like on the edge of my seat in the theater when I was watching that. Like, I know that was very CGI too, but it was just like, I love that stuff. I just am like a little kid when I watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all how it's done. Because we've talked about a couple of the more recent Godzilla Kong movies on the show, and I can't get into them for whatever reason.
Either, yeah.
But I do think that's like them just being CG isn't it. There's like you said, like the stuff sort of built around it that makes you kind of excited for those moments. And I think particularly in this case, these things are they're amazing to look at. They're very well designed and well made, but also like this sense of danger or at least wonder about them, I think, propels you to kind of have more of that positive response to them. Like I do like how it's very not explained. It's like an asteroid hit. We shot a bunch of rockets at it. So a bunch of chemicals rained down and stuff turned into monsters. Yeah. That's all I know about it. So that's all you know about it.
Also, they didn't date themselves. Like, you know how post-apocalyptic movies will always be like, it's like 2040, but instead it was just like 7 years from now. They never say the actual date, which I loved. Anyway,
yeah, I think they did that in, what's that dragon one we watched? Reign of Fire. I think there was like a specific date on that one.
Greatest movie ever made.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, okay. As far as I remember. Well, you came in mind literally when you said that Kong thing. I'm like, we did a Kong movie on the show?
Yeah. No,
I sort of remember that.
Yeah, I had to think, because I was talking about this the other day, because I was talking about Brian Tyree Henry, who I really like, and I was like, yeah, he wasn't so great in that one Kong movie. I don't remember which one that was though, but it wasn't Kong, it was Godzilla, it was King of the Monsters. But those are boring monsters. These monsters are very cool. Did you have a particular favorite monster?
I mean, I guess I just like that they chose to go the route of like, some are bad and some are good. Mm-hmm. And I love that like everything in this movie has a payoff. Like every scene that you see at the beginning has a payoff in the end. And for example, the snail, who turns out to be sort of one of the more benevolent of the monsters. And they say, you can tell if you look in their eyes. And then it gets a payoff in the end. I would say that maybe the centipede, in terms of like really being like frightening, is one of the most amazing scenes ever. Obviously, I love dogs. And so the dog is a huge draw for me. Like when he starts talking to the dog, I'm like, yes, like this would be me in the apocalypse. Like, like find me the dog and like I would die for the dog. Like,
absolutely.
Like he's doing in this. And you know, when that centipede wraps around that duck and the little doggy's in the middle and you're just like, ah, and it's so fucking disgusting. It's so hideous and gross with its like antennae that's like touching him.
Yeah. That, I think that's what to me sells that one, is it's not just like, oh, look, this big gross bug. When it's using the antenna to like feel around stuff. Whoa, that just was so disgusting. I do not like centipedes. Yeah, I thought that the dog thing again was a thing that I was worried was going to be a little bit too sappy, but I think they skirted that edge pretty well. And because it's sort of inexplicable how smart that dog is. You know, like it knows.
He's the best actor of the film, I gotta say.
I would have watched this movie entirely if it was just the dog.
Seriously,
that like Milo and Otis, but it's a dog
or like
fighting centipedes.
Homeward Colony. I don't know.
Not to be just the argumentative guy. I'm just saying that technically, I think that dog is actually like a horrible, horrible monster because it let its first owner die. It waits for our guy to like, oh no, I got yelled at once, and then fucks off and almost lets him die. That's a shitty dog. That's a bad, bad dog.
Look, I think you're asking a lot of this dog. I think putting the death of the owner on the dog is kind of bad.
Save my dress, not me. Oh yeah, no, I see what happens. I'm on to you, dog.
The dog liked the dress.
Alex, don't even. I am going to chop your head off. No.
Just hop through the screen like Ghost Dad.
Yeah.
I mean, you try to save a small girl child who's probably like, ooh, there's pansies over here. I'm going to pick. Oh my God, there's a giant centipede. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah. What are you? You're just a dog.
You're just a dog.
I'm not gonna save a dress over a human life. I'm just saying the demonstrated amount of knowledge and understanding within that dog shows that it's a bad dog. I think it's basically Hitler dog.
So if you are admitting you have fallen into my trap, because you are admitting that the dog is smart and can make these decisions, the dog probably recognized that if he tried to save the girl, he would have died too. So
Well,
So
yes.
it's not a hero. Yeah,
Here,
thank
wait
you
a
for my point
second,
for me.
Alex.
Yeah.
What if he knew that the only way to get Joel to actually suck it up and be like a hero was to run away with the dress? Like, oh yeah, you're not my favorite person anymore. I'm gonna take this dress. And Joel's like, no, like, fuck. Now I have to be the hero. And he kills the big monster because the dog was like, you gotta suck it up, bro. Like, I can't save you anymore.
You know, I get it. I'm a little younger. I'm like I was born after 2000. So like we got a different thing. You're, a 90s kid. You drank from water hoses. I understand. And you're used to this tough love thing. And that's not how I grew up. I grew up with acceptance and love in whatever year I'm lying about being born in to make this work.
Hey, sometimes, like, he's just gotta do what he's gotta do, man. Like, you've gotta sink or swim in certain situations, and the dog has saved him multiple times already in this movie.
That's true.
Well,
So-
it endangered him first. So really, it's, yeah.
Well, he endangered himself.
Hey, I stopped hitting you eventually. That's not a good argument for you. I'm saying that dog is abusive, is what I'm saying. It's a bad dog.
I thought
It's a good dog.
Speaking of,
We can agree to disagree.
No, we can't.
speaking of good dogs, I thought that at the very beginning, when they are, there's the attack on the colony where Joel lives. I thought the guy with the beard was Dennis Quaid's kid. What's his name?
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid. I thought it was Jack Quaid, and I was very bummed that it was not.
Well, then
Oh,
there,
yeah,
then
that
there
guy.
would be, like, twins. It'd be like Joel and him would be the exact same character.
And I was excited. I was like,
Yeah.
"Cool, Jack Quaid."
Oh yeah, Joel is very like Huey coded from the boys. Like yeah, he's got that same kind of vibe.
Well, what I liked about that initial colony was, like, usually in the apocalypse, it's like everything's gone to shit. Like, everybody's backstabbing each other. And I was just super happy to finally see, like, in my opinion, you probably would find a bunch of people be just like, we love each other now. Like, we're all best friends. And like, I loved seeing that on the screen, that they also actually said, I love you to each other in, like, at the very beginning, and you could see it. And I thought it was really hilarious when they showed, like, almost the first real scene was sort of everybody screwing, and he's like having to put his head on under his pillow.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's had to go through that in college, or maybe everybody.
More neighbors than roommates. My roommates was one just bought a bunch of Transformers, and the other brought his drum set from home in a 9x15 room. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm working
bad
on my
memories.
fills.
Yeah. But I did wonder, like, going back to what you were saying, Alex, that if that was going to be a thing, that he's sort of this weird, not that it was going to go like full Swiss Army Man, where he's this like weird, creepy incel, but that his, like, he's around all this love and he doesn't have any. So it's sort of like he just has conjured up Amy and that she's actually dead or
Oh,
whatever.
I didn't even think about that. Amy could have been invented. Oh, that would have fucking made me so angry.
Yeah. Or not. I mean, if not invented, like, at least like not reachable. But that he's like, yeah, just talking in the static or something.
Oh,
And
interesting.
that would have been an unfortunately dark turn into this.
Yeah, I mean the one I like all these characters, but the one thing that I really enjoyed the movie. Let's be clear here, but I think they needed to do a little bit better of a job explaining how he could possibly think that it's been 7 years and she's just sitting there waiting for him. Like, he's not that weird. Like, I think they got to be weirder, or like maybe get a bit of a throwaway line, but it's like, hey, I'm around all these people that have paired off over the last 7 years and I'm alone. Ah, yeah, I'm sure she's fine. She's,
See, I took it as that basically because he's the same person. He hasn't changed at all in
Yeah.
7 years.
Oh no, totally. But I would like that a little more clarified. Like, all of his friends are like, oh yeah, you should totally go. Like, this, you're going to kill yourself for something that, like, because we're adults and we understand human relationships. Like,
Yeah, I was admittedly surprised how, like, that they did let him go. I thought there was gonna be much more of a trying to stop him doing that. because like for the good of the colony. But they kind of established that he's like, well, no, he's good. It's good that he's here, but
it's also told from his perspective. So who knows if that original scene is actually him just cranking off, watching all of his friends hump.
Yeah,
and he's like
there's
the creepy,
no way to know.
He's the creepy weird guy. Yeah, and like because it's from his perspective, you think of him as like this romantic that's really good at drawing and wandering the wastelands with his beautiful pup, and he's actually just a creepy onanist. They're all just like, yeah, guy, you gotta go.
Remember when you, Marsh, we were like, boy, I hope Alex is okay with my dick jokes.
No, I totally get it. I think it's funny to think about how he might have actually been if his telling of the story isn't actually the accurate retelling, right? And I like where you're coming from, because that's one of the, when I remember watching this for the first time and being like, oh, are they gonna have her like run into his arms and be like in love with him? Because I would have been so pissed if that had actually happened. I do like they have him being so naive, because if you'd kind of been stunted this whole time, you've been stuck in a bunker, he hadn't been out in literally 7 years, and then when he gets there, and it was so realistic and I think well done that, it is awkward to tell somebody who you never thought you would see again, like, dude, you're being weird, like,
right,
we haven't seen each other for 7 years, but like, it was probably fun for her to chat with him. Like, let's talk about the old times. I don't really have to tell him, like, I don't love you anymore, because, like, I'm never going to see this guy.
Yeah, there are bigger problems right now.
But then, like, when he gets there, I thought it was, like, really well that they didn't show him being kind of like a petty little bitch. Like, because that could have been another way that it could have gone.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with this movie, is that it gives you the impression several times that it's going to be that kind of movie.
Yeah.
That it is absolutely like, it kind of leads you down that primrose path of like, yeah, we're setting this up. This is actually what it's going to be. And then it doesn't.
It doesn't.
And not like in a heavy-handed way or like in a, M. Night Shyamalan twist thing, but it's more just
like, oh, this is real life.
Smartly, yeah.
Like, oh,
it's actually more complicated.
Exactly.
As his journey continues, it gets more complicated.
And this is getting to the very end, but they like kiss, but they don't say I love you. And I was like, yes, like, because that would have been really stupid. And even like at the very beginning when they're saying goodbye to each other and they kind of like are going to say something and then they don't. And then he says, I love you. And she's like, I love you. But it's a pity I love you, like, because she 100% did not want to say it when she was walking away to the Jeep, because she was like, I'm probably never going to see this guy again. But it was kind of like a sweet, like, I love you back, but say la vie,
Yeah, that was actually, this is a weird complaint I had with the movie. And this isn't specific to this movie. I did not like how handsome his dad was.
What?
Like
I didn't even notice the dad.
It's a way, it's right. I think it's because I recently saw this movie called Suitable Flesh on Shudder, as Barbara Crampton and Heather Graham, and it's basically like it's a play on an H.P. Lovecraft story. But Heather Graham's husband looks like an actor, like he's supposed to be just like a dentist or something, but he's always wearing like super tight shirts and is very buff, and it's like he just doesn't look like a guy. Mostly in this movie, people look like that, look like just people, except for his dad. I thought looked like a. It doesn't matter, but it just really stuck out to me.
Funny, because I always have a complaint, like, especially in sitcoms, where the wife will be this, like, gorgeous woman and the dad is this, like, frumpy, disgusting looking human. And you're like, no, this doesn't fit my, like, idea. Like, she does not look normal. Like, have them match at least,
Well, no, because I had the same thing, but with our lead guy. I thought he would, I mean, it's fine. He did a great job. His acting was great, but, like, he was a little like, he's got a little bit of like oh, shucks, I'm not strong. I'm in this, he's joking around on the radio that he got in really good shape. But you can tell that guy's shredded. Like, you can see like clavicle and like he's got like nice like traps. And it's like, no, you can't do the, I'm such a pencil neck geek on the radio where it's like, no, that guy's got tone. Yeah.
Maybe he got bit by a radioactive spider in the interim years.
He got bit by a radioactive handsome boy. I also like, just on the setup note of this movie, I do like how a lot of, post-apocalyptic movies don't do hang their hat on it, but I like that. So 95% of humans are dead. I like that number. Like, it's not like, 40% were dead in the first day and we all scattered and you're like, we could maybe recover. No, we are fucked. Like, that is a fucked number, which is, I like when a movie doesn't get wishy-washy with it,
Or
like
shy away
28
from
days
that big
later where it's like
number.
you can't throw a rock without running into a survivor. And this is
Right.
like, yeah, no, they're all dead. Everybody's fucked.
Which is
Yeah.
why I started thinking about how, like, well, and I imagine it changes, much like in like Fallout, it changes from colony to colony. Is pairing off the best solution in that situation, or should you invent a polycule? Should all of those like what's
To
let's start
create
just
the
thinking
most
about-
genetic,
to get the most
pool.
genetic stuff? And then I was thinking about like where they're getting their food
Genetic
from, and I was
stuff.
like, yep, genetic stuff as it's called. And I started thinking about where they're getting their food, and I just went, you know what? This isn't that movie. This isn't a thing you need to worry about.
Yeah. No, this is 28 days later. They're
yeah.
all Christopher Eccleston, and they're starting a baby farm in the basement.
Yeah, that's
Where
the
they're
way to
going
do it.
full Cormac McCarthy in other colonies.
I mean, it was funny that basically a person would die in and like another person would start fucking them immediately. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, like I thought that when he first gets to the other colony, the one that Annie's at, I thought everyone that was there was going to be like just super old. That was it. Like she was like the one person, and how awful that would be to a certain extent. I mean, old people are fine, but if you have to like be the caretaker for all of them,
That's another reason why I love this movie, because I'm an occupational therapist, so I work with geriatrics all the time, geriatric people, older adults, and I love them. I love older people. And so when he arrived at that colony and she was taking care of all of these geriatric people, I was like, yes, it would be so exhausting. Like
Yeah.
short-term memory issues. They're all weak. They can't like do much to help out physically. I mean, I was like, this movie has everything that I Also, it has the gyrocopter pilot from Mad Max. So I was just like, oh my God, I'm dying.
wait, I must have completely missed that.
Yeah, I
Like
did too.
the actor or the character?
The
basically like
actor, he was the guy that the gyrocopter pilot is the old man that he accidentally kisses.
Oh, I totally did
Pete,
not even
yeah.
recognize that guy. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Bruce Spence. Yeah,
Yeah, Bruce Spence.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not recognize him. Wow.
When he showed up, I was like, this movie loves the apocalypse, and I love this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is like, not to get too well, it's just like it's a little Tarantino-y, and like I was saying, and how it doles out these references to other movies. Like sometimes it's a little on the nose, like I said with the Zombieland thing. But then I liked how when he encounters Mavis, there's these series of robots we've learned that are basically not existent anymore, called Mavis. They've all like run down, but he encounters one that still has his power, and it's listening to Then they have a moment where they listen to Stand By Me, and like a scene or two later, he's swimming across a river and gets covered in leeches.
Yes!
And I was like, oh, that's kind of clever. Little kid journey thing going on there. But again,
Yes!
not in this way where I'm like, oh, what a ripoff. It
It's-
felt natural to this movie
These
that if you could make that
homages
connection.
are just
yeah,
like... Oh, and
it was very
the
well done.
Mavis scene, apparently they actually had like a puppeteer doing it, so that's cool. And just, it was such a heartwarming scene with a robot. And
With the thing
then,
that doesn't have emotions, yeah.
yes! And then the jellies that come out are like floating around, and they're so beautiful, and you can just like have this beautiful silent moment with him and this dumb robot, and I'm just like, ugh. Perfect.
That robot
scene.
reminded me of if anybody saw Vesper from a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah,
you
like-
recommended it to me, but I have not. I still
Yeah,
have
there's
not
a
watched it.
there's a kind of the second lead as a robot in that, sort of. It gets vaguely complicated, but anyway, it just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Anything that reminds me of that movie is good.
Yeah, I thought, and I think like with that, like you said, with that sort of quiet moment, I thought it did a good job of never getting like too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, not like trying to get too heavy. You know what I mean? Like there weren't these like big tonal changes where all of a sudden, it's like, no, but this is actually really serious. It was like the correct amount of heavy for the movie it was trying to be. And I don't know if that specifically is a result of the script by by Duffield that we mentioned last episode, or if it's the work of South African director Michael Matthews. This was only like his second movie, which is very impressive for being like a big studio pick and
Yeah, he's
being
good.
this adept.
Made also on the references, just casting alone to Mr. Michael Rooker from The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Which I was wondering, like, how he felt about that. If he was like, really? I got to do this again? Or if he was game for it.
Michael Rooker doesn't seem the type to remember his previous role, so I think he's fine.
I wonder if the samurai sword was sort of like a Michonne reference.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. That's when I officially was like, I had bailed on Walking Dead by that point, but when they would like introduce a character with a samurai sword, I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, is this even like supposed to be about human beings anymore? Because why would you have a sword to fight? I don't know how all that stuff works in Walking Dead, but it seems like guns would be the way to go.
I think you chop their heads off, right?
Yeah, but why would you let them get that close? If they're already that close, you've lost.
Yeah, she's a great character from the comics, so you shut your whore mouth.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah,
but
she's a cool character in the show. I didn't watch all of the seasons, but I watched, I think, like up to 6 or something.
Yeah, I gave up before that. The show blows, but I really like that character for the comics.
I left after the Governor season.
That's where I left too.
Yeah, because it was like the next season started. I was like, I kind of don't remember anyone's name, and I'm 4 seasons into the show. I should probably stop watching.
I guess one of my favorite. There was one line I think later on that I still use, which I love from Walking Dead, which was
zombies. Is it
no?
Oh.
It's like
Coral.
One of these guys gets captured by cannibals, of course, and they're like eating his leg as he's like watching them eat him. But he's been bitten by a zombie, and he goes, "Tainted meat! It's tainted meat!" And so awesome. Now every time like I'm like eating a meat or something else, they're like, "Tainted meat!"
Just getting kicked out of Arby's left and right. That's terrible.
But I left pretty much after that scene. I was like, it can't get better than tainted meat. I mean,
yeah, I mean that's actually a good point. Kind of going back to what you were saying about these people that actually like each other, is that even everyone he encounters is to some degree nice.
Yes,
it's not Cormac McCarthy's The Road that he doesn't get to the other camp and they're like, no, guess what? We're evil as hell now. The twist in the third act, which gets a little silly, but I was like, the tone of the movie had won me over. It's totally fine, but when like Cap first shows up, but it seems like there's going to be this big, and he even says it in the script, but like that this romantic conflict, and that the Cap is so great. He's a yacht captain, and he's Australian and handsome, and he's good at everything. But the fact that they diffuse that constantly, that he's always like just very nice to him specifically, like, thank you, oh my god, you made it overland, that's so amazing. We're gonna have a party for you. I hear you make a mean minestrone. Like, just nothing but complimentary and nice.
That's what makes it so good. It's like he can't kind of be an asshole to that guy because he's acting really nice.
As soon as I saw his buddy that had the woman Dana that had the
wrist rocket,
the wrist mounted rocket launcher, I was like, well, these people are evil. No one has that. No one good has a wrist rocket launcher. Boba Fett's got one of those. Look at him.
Well, in the later, Boba Fett kind of gets turned around that he's kind of an anti-hero,
Right.
You just wanted he's wanted his best car armor back because he got it from Father Jango Fett.
Yeah, but we don't know where she got her armor. We don't know.
No, she got it from her father, Jango Fett. It's another. It's another really deep reference. This movie.
I see.
It's in a cutscene. Yeah.
Now from what I understand, they're doing another one, aren't they?
I have checked on and off, and initially I think they were going to do a second one, but it doesn't look like there's any new news about a 2 coming.
Yeah,
out.
I saw one that said it's finally.
Really?
But I think it's. I mean,
who knows?
I don't think there's any definite in that, because honestly, I wouldn't want there to be. I think this is a nicely told story. Should just end there. That's fine. I did think, because at the end when they all decided to go in the mountains again, I was thinking like, is the food as good up there? Because like you seem to be pretty well stocked down there, but again, it doesn't matter. It's an anime.
Because all the monsters are cold-blooded or hot. So that's why you go to the mountains, because then everything will freeze before getting to you.
I mean, I would watch a sequel just to see more monsters. I guess I'll say that. And if it was just focused on the dog, which were 2 Australian kelpies named Hero and Dodge.
Yeah, it was really sweet. There's like an extra that you can watch where the trainer of the dogs was basically like, I have never seen one of my dogs fall in love with an actor like our main actor dog Hero did with Dylan O'Brien. So that's really sweet. I mean, you can see the chemistry that they have together. And like the scene It's actually like really scary to watch for me as a person who loves dogs. Like when he's holding the dog and keeping its mouth shut. Like what a hard thing for a dog to do without not really freaking out. You could tell it was sort of freaking out. So it really added to that scene. But like, you know that it's trained and it's okay. The dog's okay. But you're like, don't hold that dog's muzzle like that. Like,
yeah, be nicer to him.
But then you're like in a situation where it's life or death. Like, of course you would make your dog shut its mouth to be quiet so both of you don't die. But it's just like funny how you viscerally react to that scene. And I think it's meant to do that. And it worked on me.
Yeah, I was a little bit more worried for the human being, but I'm a speciesist.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that was a reference to the most hilarious episode of MASH ever made.
But which one is
that?
No,
you just let the four people that understand it. It's one of the darker jokes I've ever said.
Wow. All right. So, see, now I'm curious. I'll do my own.
There's an episode where there's a flashback where a chicken was making really loud noise. So one of the members of MASH had to smother it. And then it's revealed that wasn't a chicken. He had smothered a baby.
Baby.
Right.
Yes.
I forgot about that episode.
Though that baby was also evil like the dog. So it actually worked out really well.
It was Damien. It was fine.
The baby had murdered its first mother and then kept her red dress.
And still lived in the same bus.
Yeah. I don't know anything about dogs. So that's a no-no to dogs to hold its mouth. That's bad.
I mean, I would assume so.
Of course.
I don't know. I don't go near dogs.
When I do it to you tend to fight me. So I don't think dogs are any different.
When we try to keep your mouth shut by like holding it
when
closed,
I grab your snout,
you start biting at me. So.
Well, my face is less grabbable. Its snout feels like a very grabbable.
That's true.
I know that like the nose is booped. I don't know if that's a boop adjacent motion.
Wow, still using the term boop in 2024. That's canceled.
Yeah, no, I'm proudly anti-dog.
What?
Yeah.
Wasn't don't you have a thing for Jessica Henwick?
I do.
To change the subject to prevent Marcy from murdering you?
I did warn her before the show that I'm just going to find something to disagree with. Like I did say I've littered the heel on the show, so if she actually gets mad, that's on her for not understanding.
Look, you want to get mad at my racism? That's your problem.
You want to care about me hating the sweetest animals on the planet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not that one, though.
Fuck you, Marcy.
Get the
fuck off my show.
Let its mom die.
There's two Alexes.
Yeah, it's a failure dog that let its parents die. Yeah.
Obscure reference to throw you off the scent.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Perfect level of nasal that makes me hate. It sounds like me. Yes, I love Jessica Henwick. She was the only bright spot in that awful Netflix Iron Fist program. Yeah. I think she's a much better actress than her career has led us to believe. Like,
sure.
She should be in something good, and then people will go, "Oh fuck! Oh yeah, she should we should give her like big roles." She's one of those kind of hasn't quite left the TV sphere. I mean, not the TV's bad, but
right.
But I mean, she's been in movies. I just I want her to be like super famous.
One of my most favorite Netflix movies that recently came out, The Gray Man.
Oh, she's in that. That's the Chris Evans one, right?
Well. And Gosling.
Right.
The sexy guy from the first season of Bridgerton.
I don't.
There's so many
with that sexy guy.
It's just so many sexy men in that movie. Like, but it's a good hunk attack, but it's also like a really, really good action flick, and it also kind of throws you off. So I have a type of movie that I like that's an action movie, which is basically like an adult human who has to protect a little human. And I didn't know by watching the trailers that was part of that movie, but it is. It just comes in really late. And yeah, it's a really great action flick, but everybody in it is like beautiful.
Have you seen Man on Fire?
Oh,
with the Denzel
I love
Washington.
That movie.
I haven't seen that yet, but that's the one when you talk about like
seen Man on Fire?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it or the original. But like when I just think of person protecting a small person, I think of that cover with Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning.
If you watch that movie, I love that movie so much. Like, I've watched that movie like so many times, I can't even tell you. And there's a scene that I don't want to spoil for you, but You'll never forget it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm more of a lone wolf and cub kind of guy, but you watch your American movies.
I will.
I'm a bit of an otaku.
Hey, I'm into the anime. I mean,
It's
or what-
fine. Or whatever. But yeah, overall, I liked this movie, honestly, more than I thought I was going to. And going into it at the beginning, like I said, it was a little bit like, okay, this
what
is
is
gonna be
Marcy
like,
getting me into?
well, it's just kind of like, well, it's just going to be like an airplane movie. You know what I mean? Like it's fun. And it is. I mean, it's light. I don't want to give it like, this is the most important movie you've ever seen.
Sure.
I can absolutely why this would be, see how this is like a COVID comfort movie, sort of thing. But like, yeah, it was smarter than I initially gave it credit for. And I actually had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I had the same, except just we didn't get to the like kind of third act stuff. It really, it won me over. So it's not like a major detraction on the whole piece. But and weirdly enough, it's going against my previous heel stance. Once the dog leaves at one point, it kind of, I don't like the rest of the movie that much. Like the whole yacht guy is stupid and like the most obvious thing that's ever going to happen. And then the dog comes back and blah, blah, blah. And that crab fight's dumb. And it's like, but really the crab's sweet the whole time because it's getting electrocuted by this guy that's just very subtle. It is. Yeah. Just, I was a little,
I think
much.
because I decided that this was an anime that I was like, yeah, that's absolutely how this would end.
Yeah.
But
I want him to be more over the top then. I want this to be full, like, I wouldn't be like a One Piece villain.
Sure. Just have the big, the mustache that's like just like a giant blade across his lip.
That's what I'm talking about. And then the mustache whips the crab, and that's how the crab.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did like.
I think he was pretty villainous once he finally reveals his true face.
Well, yeah, he's Australian.
And I think I think it was funny. Well, we didn't talk about how like the worst thing to be is a food stealer, and so this was like a long running. You get the payoff here because in the end, the Australian guy steals all their food. It's literally just a basket with some like bread and leeks in it. I'm like, okay, so you took over this whole colony to steal a basket of like really perishable food. But anyway, so he's got this crab. Another thing that I like is that they basically say that, yeah, gas wouldn't be around anymore because gas just goes away after like 2 years. It's not good. But anyway, so he's got this crab pulling his yacht around, this giant crab who he's electrocuting. And like, that's pretty evil, like to constantly be electrocuting basically a creature, any kind of creature, torturing it constantly. And I mean, I don't think it was that bad to have it be like, oh, I could see in the eyes that literally this crab is just being tortured, so he doesn't really want to do things. He's just reacting kind of like the dog reacts to being afraid of giant monsters, you know? Like,
I think that the like at that point I was more invested in like the sort of the emotional beats of it. So like how he realizes that like, okay, well, she's not the person that I thought she was, and I shouldn't be the person that I still am. I should go do something else. And it turns out the people at home, I kind of miss them. I should go check them out. And I kind of like the way that goes, and like the way that kind of pays off. How he's like, well, I'm back, but I still like not satisfied where I am. Like that awoke something in him. But so I was just like, the fact that he's like, no, I'm just going to learn how to love. I'm going to beat the monsters with love. I was okay with that.
Or just, you know, recognize that the most important love isn't like this fantasy romantic love that you've had, like building this woman up on this pedestal. Like she's not this like Vestal virgin or whatever. She's a woman who's gone through lots of crazy things and had to care for all these people. And like he has to wrestle with the fact that, oh yeah, like I kind of have been an idiot. You know,
actually, now I do kind of want to see a version of this movie that is like that. He's a creepy incel. He's like Travis Bickle, and that he like gets up to her and like she still cares for him, but he's like, you were with another man, and just like can't. It's been 7 years and you've been in bunkers, but you're like, how dare you?
How dare your vagina touch another penis?
Yeah, that's
I never want to
disgusting.
see you again. But maybe you should have sex with me first.
Yeah, well, I better test it, make sure it's still okay. No, it's not. Sorry. Then kick her to the surface. That's the movie Alex would write, that dog hating. Never mind.
No, well,
Just trying
to
to-
be fair though, that dog was barking the shit out of that crab, and that crab's supposed to be very nice. So I'm just saying that dog not good at sensing
Ooh, yeah,
what's good and
that's a
bad.
good-
Saying it's
yeah.
a bad dog, bad puppy.
Well, he sensed
If they still
danger.
made newspapers, I'd roll one up and hit it on the snout.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. There's no way to discipline dogs anymore now that they got rid of that.
That's why the
and
future
maybe
ones are bad.
that's why they have to electrocute the crab, because they can't whack it with newspaper. So really, they're just making do, just like anybody else.
Let's beat dogs podcast.
Well, you know, I got hired for the,
Yeah,
for the, for
the
host role.
original title, John and Alex Beat Dogs,
Yeah.
did not test well.
Yeah.
Did not. Yeah.
Plain Jabbergoo is harder to say.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me, though, that Australian guy, probably not the worst villain, because it just, think about how fucked Australia would be.
Oh, yeah.
Like, most of their wildlife right now, before a comet impact, wants to murder them horrifically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they already live in a land of monsters. Ooh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just
That would be rough. Alligators?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they already have giant spiders. Fucking kangaroos are jerk offs. Imagine them being like 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
Always
Just
trying to
giant
box you.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will, like, thank you for this movie for not having spiders. Like, you have gross centipedes. Like, that's fantastic. No disgusting spiders. Thank you.
They did mention it at the very end, the snow
Yes.
spiders. But we
I'm
don't
just
have to
glad
see
I did
them.
not. Yeah, I did not have to see them.
Well, Cameron from Green Shirt and Open Pike would love that there's no spiders in this because he's arachnophobic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, thanks. Actually, I'm arachnophobic from the movie Arachnophobia. Like,
really?
that. I was kind of okay with spiders, and then I saw it when I was a kid, and then I was like, no thanks.
Wow.
And I saw it again as an adult. It's very silly, but I did not get as scared. But I remember seeing it in the theater with my mom and my sister, and like we all had our legs up on the seats just so we, no spiders
no
were crawling
spiders
over our
would get
feet.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds gross.
yeah.
They
no
should
thanks.
do that. Like those old 50s movies, they should let out like little mechanical spiders in the middle of the movie.
Yeah,
Like the Tingler and shit from
Tingler.
back in the day. Yeah.
You know, in is it Disneyland where you can go onto those rides that have they move you around during the movie and then they shoot scents and stuff at you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a thing they released a few movies, and it's called like 4X Cinema or 4DX or something like that. And my friend Corwin saw Geostorm that way. And it's it'll shake you, and then when there's blizzards or something, it would spritz water in your face.
I know,
when
it's
there's
so
torrential-
disgusting.
It's so stupid, but I kind of want to go try it out.
Yeah, but the moment I was on one of those rides and I was like, think of all the gross sweaty people sitting in those seats, and they're probably not cleaning those sprayers very often, so all the spores and things are
Ugh.
Yeah.
getting on you from that. No, thank you.
And COVID
That's-
times, just hey, what can we do
Yeah.
to make this better? Oh, let's moisten the air.
It's I never went to Six Flags, or sorry, I never went to Disney World or any of the Disneyland. I'm a Midwest kid. And so we would just go to Worlds of Fun or Adventureland, and there was one of those log rides where it goes down the chute.
Oh, yeah,
and then,
yeah, yeah.
it splashes, and just you could stand over it and get splashed. And you could not pay me money to do that now, because I'd just be thinking about how disgusting that water is. But when
yeah.
you're a kid, you're like, whatever, I'm gonna live forever.
Well, you've lived this far at least.
Yeah, because I've stopped getting splashed by amusement park rides.
Yeah, I mean, it does have a 30% mortality rate. Yeah.
30% mortality rate,
Log flumes are right after heart disease and cancer for men in their 40s. Yeah.
Specifically in America, this doesn't happen in other countries, and yet we won't do anything about it.
Well, we've got lax safety ever since the stupid break-in administration.
The
Right.
idea of people seeing that and just being like, fuck it, I'm going on anyway.
Yeah, that's my freedom. That's my right.
Well, no. So I grew up.
America!
Yeah.
I grew up next to this park called Action Park. You may have heard of it because they made documentaries about it.
Yes.
It ended up being called Traction Park because multiple people were killed and many, many people were injured on their various water slides. But we kept going. Literally, they had one that was a 360 slide that you did a full loop-de-loop that people would get stuck in, fall, shattered
Ew.
clavicles. But people just kept going, and it was well, okay, I'm gonna have to break kayfabe here. It was the 80s, so none of our parents cared. Like, the staff was drunk, and but it stayed open for like years, to the point that people would go because of the bad reputation. Be like, yeah, let's go. It's gonna get fucking weird. We're going to Traction Park.
We're gonna go flirt with death.
Yeah, and now there's multiple documentaries about the horrors that went on there.
All I remember about going to water parks, and I can never unlive this, is basically getting an enema as I was going down one because it was so steep, and I was like, never again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to squeeze. No.
Like, how many other people's butthole water is in there? Like, sorry. Couldn't make me go there again.
Oh.
Sorry.
I just had this horrible thought of, like, your podcast takes off and there are all these fans and there are people trying to find that water park. They're like, I'm going to get some of that Marcy Burt water.
Oh, yeah. Splash me with it.
Somewhere in the South.
Water parks are nasty. How did we get onto this? Whatever. Anyway,
you were talking something about you're a piss freak and you like when people pee on you and you're at a water park, right?
That's how we have most episodes.
If my memory of how that happened.
Yeah.
Audience at home, if you didn't hear that, that's because John cut it, but I assure you.
Fair play. That's true. So yeah, Love and Monsters. Big thumbs up for me. Thank you so much for introducing me to it. I would not have watched it otherwise.
Yay!
Yeah, fun movie. I enjoyed it, other than that stupid dog.
I refuse to respond.
A special edit that just removes the dog entirely.
What a shitty movie! If there was no dog, I don't know if that would be as good. Just saying.
What if it was a koala? That would be pretty cute.
Koalas are vicious.
Yeah, but they're kind of lazy though, aren't they? Like they're not going to go seek out
danger. They're not
danger.
fast, so viciously slow.
And they all have chlamydia, so
that's also true. And who can root for that?
And they only eat eucalyptus, so they're gonna die soon.
Yeah. They're hosed outside of the horror show that is Australia. Yeah.
Maybe that's why they left Australia in the movie, because the koalas were like their final. Like koalas were good and nice, and they were their final flank. And then the koalas got taken down because there wasn't enough eucalyptus.
Yeah,
and so all the big fisted kangaroos and stuff.
Yeah, let's not talk about fisting kangaroos.
Hold on, I'm writing a new one. Gonna send it.
Kangaroo Jack 2 fisting.
I'm gonna contact Anthony Anderson with this. 1 second. So we like this one. Alex, do you have any recommendations? Other stuff you've been watching lately?
Well, yeah. It's more, again, Alex admits to embarrassing things less than what I've been watching. I couldn't figure out what to watch, and one of the channels, I think, it's HBO Max or whatever, recommended True Blood, which I watched when it was on, 20 years ago or whatever the fuck it was.
You've referenced it before.
Yeah. I got talked back into it by I couldn't find anything else to watch. And that show is like simultaneously so much better than I remember it, and also like 100 times worse than I remember it. Like, it's dog shit. But like, I remember why I like it. It's over the top. It almost reminds me a bit of like Hannibal, but like campier, where it's just like everything's here, everything's stupid. But like, boy, the acting is crap. Like Anna Paquin, who's literally an Oscar winner, is tragically shit in this. And whichever Skarsgård it is, the one that like the Viking, Alexander Skarsgård, cannot act for crap yet. Like, he does not, like, I think maybe his English might not be that good, but like, oh boy, it is fucking rough. But like, everybody's sexy and they have sex. And
I was going to say, is he still hunky?
He's very hunky. Yeah. And he plays a vampire king. So like, basically it's like, hey, high school Alex, would you like a boner?
How about you, Marcy? Watch anything good? Any recommendations?
Well, speaking of anime, I did start watching this show called Freyren. It's basically about an elf who's a mage, and it starts out, she's the 1,000-year-old mage, but you're kind of following her on like the end of her 1,000 years, but she has flashbacks to when she was like the hero of the realm like 100 years ago and saved the world basically from the Demon King, and now she's like made a new group of newbie adventurers. And it's surprisingly, like, it kind of feels like you're watching D&D or, I don't know, kind of like a role-playing game, video game. But it is very sweet, kind of, and it's interesting to think about what the complications would be if you actually did live as long as elves live, and like watching somebody who you actually loved from 100 years ago, who was like the hero of the realm, die, and now you're like helping create the new heroes of the human realm, you know?
Yeah, have you checked out Delicious in Dungeon?
I watched like the first 2 episodes of that, I think,
because that they touch on that a little bit in there with some of the elf characters. I just read the comic and I enjoyed it. I haven't watched the show yet. How about Centaur World? You seen that one? That seems like it'd be up your alley.
Yeah. So here's like feel good shows. I'll just list them really quick. If you Avatar: The Last Airbender, Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beast. Steven Universe.
Fuck yeah.
Adventure Time. They're all cartoons.
Adventure Time. Never heard of it.
Alex has another show.
Yeah, I do another podcast about Adventure Time. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I literally host an Adventure Time podcast. Yeah.
I love Adventure Time.
Well,
but
I
it's
know
hard.
a podcast you should feel bad about not listening to.
Well, it seems like you have 1,000 podcasts. Don't you have like another one too?
I used to have another one. Now it's just those two. This one
okay.
and sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I got to shoehorn in a plug because I always forget to do references.
Course. Like,
consider it shoehorned.
Go watch Alex's Adventure Time. Or don't watch it. Go listen to Alex's Adventure Time podcast.
Exactly. Whiz Biz with Alex and Eric. Available things.
Yeah, because that show is awesome. And let's see. I can't think of any other live action. I mean, obviously Love and Monsters is one, but I'll later. But definitely those 4 cartoons are amazing. And then what else? Oh, I heard you guys shitting on Fallout, or Alex was at least, but I loved the Fallout television show.
I haven't
Oh no!
seen it yet.
I think I just said something. I've never played the game. I haven't seen a second of it. I think I was just saying something stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
No, I've heard it's fun. I haven't checked it out yet though.
I've
I like
played
Walton Goggins a lot.
all of the games, and I guess I'll plug my podcast because we
were not going to give you a chance to do that, so please don't. Now.
I'm going to be reviewing the new Fallout television show because I played all of the games, not just those people that played like the new generation, but I played 1, 2, 3, 4, all like New Vegas, everything. So I was like tentatively like hopeful for this TV show, and I was happily surprised that it was really good. So
is this going to be a new season of Idle Ride, or is this a different podcast?
So I'm keeping it the same season, but so I'm also doing the new Avatar Netflix series, which is shit. Sorry,
I'm so glad you said that. I was literally afraid to bring it up, and I was like, I'll just let you have fun if you like it. I don't want to, because it sucks. Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah,
and so I have been reviewing it, even though it's not like the most positive. Like I found some things to like about it just because I have to talk about it. And if I don't like something about it, I would kill myself. So, it's just, so anyway, but I'm excited to talk about Fallout on the next section of Idle Ride.
Yeah, that makes sense, because it can be interesting to, like, here's what doesn't work, and figuring out why it doesn't work can be interesting. But when you're like, I've done this for 4 episodes now, why am I still watching this show?
Exactly.
That's rough.
Yeah. Like the first season of Next Generation that I did in Green Shirt. That was rough.
Well, I was curious how they're now doing Deep Space Nine stuff, and I was like, oh, how are they going to get through the first season of that? Because there's some rough stuff in that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my big comfort shows. Is just Deep Space, because I can just sort of like put it on and kind of forget about it. Sometimes if I want to get very engaged, there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. If I don't, who cares? For me, recommendations wise, the only thing I've seen recently that I would recommend is Thrilling Bloody Sword, which is a completely bonkers kung fu movie that's like Snow White and the Seven Dwarves mixed with a Hydra, mixed with a whole bunch of stuff, but it's just really low budget, just crazy fights and a neat, super low budget special effects.
Hell yeah.
But I had fun with that one. But everything else I've watched is dumb.
Oh wait, I thought of a good one.
What's
I forgot. Solo Leveling is a delightful anime. So I've been watching that, and that's actually really good. I totally forgot about it because my brain is dying. Don't ignore all that True Blood stuff. Watch Solo Leveling.
Also, Mob Psycho 100 just came to Netflix, and that's a fun show.
Oh yeah. I watched the first season of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a different one. I was watching Zom 100 is what I'm thinking of.
Oh,
but
no, Mob Psycho 100 is is very silly. I enjoy that one a lot. Where can people find your podcast, Idle Ride? Just wherever podcasts are, or?
Yeah, I'm on every single streaming podcast service. So if you just look up Idle Ride, you can find me there. And I'm on almost all the social medias. More active, I would say, like on Twitter and Instagram. But if you go the other places, you'll see my stuff too. So it's Idle Ride or Idle Ride Podcast on those places, including
Awesome.
TikTok. I've got some videos, but TikTok's
Ooh.
apparently
Yeah.
gonna be banned or something.
yeah.
I'm so pissed.
No,
Like-
it's great. Yeah, like let's shut down TikTok and have a whole bunch of violence on college campuses. That's going to win me the youth vote. That's going to go good. But yeah, no, I recently started a TikTok just to see for Wire the Podcast. This may hurt a bit, and then Alex, you have some of our videos on there, right? John Alex Hates stuff.
Yeah, and there's some WizBiz stuff on there too. But here's the thing: I did a bunch of advertising on TikTok and like really tried for a minute, and we got like tens of thousands of views on there. And it translates to your podcast getting like one extra download. So I don't actually care about TikTok. The only reason I was doing it was like a means to like get our stuff out there, and it doesn't work. So
and we did, and people said no, thank you.
yes.
Oh, that's
Well, no, they
interesting.
didn't even bother to listen.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm on YouTube too. I just started doing YouTube stuff just to see if that would go anywhere. It's hard to determine. I feel like, when you're on any of these social medias, it's like, other podcasters are following you, so your listeners are going to be other podcasters,
Right. Or they're just following you just so like you'll follow them back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's nice to find a community sort of that is supportive and are doing similar things. And so I try to listen to other people's podcasts to see if, that might be something that I actually do want to listen to. But
Yeah. And it's also like, I mean, like we were talking with the green shirt stuff, like it's a good excuse to get into the thing, maybe I'm less excited to check out Avatar, but maybe I'll watch The Last of Us and then listen to the podcast.
yeah, for sure.
Same kind of thing. Thank you so much for coming on and for introducing us to this super fun movie.
Yeah.
Go listen to Marcy's show, and thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, Marcy.
Thank you. It's fun. You guys are hilarious.
Oh, thank you.
We'll do it again sometime, and we'll fight about a different dog.
Yeah, don't
No, I'll be
don't
pro
talk
dog
shit
that time.
about dogs,
Yeah, I'll
Alex.
be pro dog on that one. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, bye.
All right, so next time, for next episode, we are going to be checking out Ethan Cohen's solo joint, spin-off solo jamboree, Drive Away Dolls.
Oh, I thought we were going to do
with Margaret
Garfield.
Qualley. Yeah, well, this is in the Garfield universe.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, this is the Drive Away Dolls are him and Nermal going to see. Well, is Nermal a boy?
I have no fucking idea. I know. No,
Yeah.
I think Normal's because I think you mail her to Abu Dhabi. Isn't that the joke?
Yeah. Yes, I think Nermal. Yeah, I just know male Nermal to Abu Dhabi. I don't know what Nermal's pronoun.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean this was the '80s. I think we were just safe in assuming.
Oh, apparently gender fluid.
Fuck
They
yeah.
have a whole section on Garfield Wiki, Nermal's gender.
Right under pregnant Odie
Some fans have mistaken Nermal for a female kitten.
relationship
Yeah.
with Sonic.
oh, that gets salty. But it's like in Latin America, Dub of Garfield and Friends had Nermal named Telma and his gender changed to female. After season 1, Telma was changed back to Nermal. Despite this, Nermal's gender only changed back to male near the end of the series. So
Huh.
Nermal's whatever you want, or Nermal's whatever Nermal feels. But anyway, yes, so we're going to be checking that out. That is currently streaming on Peacock as of this recording, and I'm sure it'll be other places, or if you would like to purchase it on physical media, if they are even making those anymore. Anyway, yeah, so check that out.
We are on social media at JawsPod. I just realized as I was saying that, like, it's just links to the episodes on Twitter because we don't do anything.
Yeah, who
So yeah,
cares?
it's really don't bother. I mean, I guess if TikTok's still there,
Yeah.
we have an account on there.
I mean, if you contact us on Twitter, one of us will get back to you. But
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can try to talk to us that way, but like as far as like following us for interesting movie content, that is the wrong kind of we're the wrong kind of fellas.
That's the bad move.
Yes.
Unless you're like court ordered to like follow a certain number of Twitter accounts for some reason, then that's fine. You can follow.
Yeah, I mean, you should get a new trial in that case, but
Yeah.
before the mistrial is called, follow us on on Twitter.
So until next time,
Goodbye.
goodbye.